Welcome to Empath Inspiration, where you are honored for your ability to feel so much, so deeply. Each week, you will learn practical information, tools, and insights that empower empaths to live healthy, productive lives. Here's your host, author, intuitive, natural health and holistic nutrition consultant, and the developer of the Foundations Healing System, a revolutionary self-healing method designed specifically for empaths, Dr. Janice Carlin.
Welcome to Empath Inspiration. I'm so happy you're here today listening because this show is going to be another powerful experience. And the topic for today is parenting empathic kids and being an empathic parent. So this involves two parts. Since you're listening to this because you're an ultrasensitive or an empath, I'll dive right into being an empathic parent, and then I'll be talking about ways to support and empower empathic children. Now, there's a certain degree of intuition that every parent has so that they can effectively care for their children. When we add in the element of empathic intuition, things become more complex. But when you have awareness of what's happening, it actually makes things easier. Now remember that when you use your clairsentience with awareness, it's an extremely helpful tool for navigating your life. So here's how all of this can play out in your everyday life. I share a story about my son and I in my book, Empathic Sensitivity, and it's rather extreme, but the underlying concept of it happens every day to varying degrees. So here's the story, and then I'll talk about all of this after I tell you the story. So one day, about a year ago, I picked up my son from school. He is in middle school. And I've been feeling just fine on the drive over to get him, but within about 30 seconds of him being in the car, I was overtaken with crushing chest pains and feelings of anxiety. There was nowhere to pull the car over. And I didn't have time to wonder what was going on with me, so I immediately asked him. And thank goodness I didn't ask about myself, because I was totally fine. If I had more time, I might have gone into that, which would have been the wrong direction. So anyway, I immediately asked him, "What's wrong?" And he told me that he was extremely stressed out and anxious about a standardized test that he'd have to take the following day. I was afraid, very afraid I wouldn't be able to continue driving safely. And my son knows all about energy clearing. So I yelled to him in the back seat, "Get that fear off of you right now. It's hurting you and it's hurting me. Hurry." And he let go and he cleared himself. And my symptoms subsided immediately. Okay, it's that effective. The things I'm sharing with you in these shows and all the things I'm talking about here and in my books, this stuff works. Okay. Now, once we got home, we were able to sit down and talk about it and deal with the issue at school without all that anxiety and fear around it. You see, he'd already cleared all that stuff. So it was an easy discussion. We can get right through it and help him. Now, my son is an empath also. So on top of everything, he was carrying around the other kids' anxieties and other negative energies from the day at school. So again, if I hadn't been consciously aware, I would have thought I was either having a heart attack or a serious anxiety attack. I would have blamed myself for having something wrong with me when it had seriously nothing to do with me at all. So if I'd gone that route and I'd self-obsessed about it, I would have been able to beneficially serve my son in resolving his own anxieties and his need to clear other people's energy. And again, just showing how clearly that awareness is truly the key. Now, like I said, it's not usually this extreme for us. I feel like I'm having a heart attack, but it used to be because I didn't have awareness of what was happening to me. I used to live my life in extreme pain, feeling really ungrounded. And I'd experienced this just extreme kind of suffering every day. I thought I was always sick because I always felt like I was. I thought there was something wrong with me or many things wrong with me. I had no idea that what I was feeling wasn't mine, that it was originating from outside of my body. And so I just kept feeling badly all the time. And now, of course, I don't experience my life like that anymore. I've set the intention regarding my empathic intuition that I will feel from my family only what is needed in the highest good. So if there's something, something comes up and that they can handle on their own and it isn't a dire emergency, I may get just a little hit of some kind of discomfort, and then I just tell them to clear themselves and we move on. Now, in order for this to work for you, you have to teach your family members how to care for their energy. And they need to be eating good, clean food and clearing themselves energetically consistently, because if they don't, you're going to feel it and it's not going to feel good. Now, we want to touch and love on and connect with our family members, but for empaths and ultrasensitives, this can be a challenge sometimes. If they aren't keeping themselves healthy and clear and dealing with their stress in healthy and effective ways, you're going to feel something unpleasant when you're around them. Now, I want to remind you right now of the blessing in all of this. Sometimes it can seem overwhelmingly like a curse. It's not. We want our family to be healthy. If they're doing things that are unhealthy practices in their lifestyles, even if they can't feel it, they are being affected adversely. So their health problems may not show up right away, maybe years before the heart disease, cancer, or dementia shows up. But if they aren't living a healthy lifestyle and caring for their energy systems, their health and well-being will be affected. So here's you, the empath of the family, or one of the empaths, who is feeling it all immediately. If they'll listen to you, their lives will be healthier and less filled with suffering. So it's a win-win for all of you to listen to those clairsentient hits you get regarding them. So remember, one of the ways that you could feel as a parent is through the choices you or your kids make for them, for themselves. For example, they may ask for something specific to eat. And if you feel badly while either thinking about it or reaching for it or making it or even serving it to them, that's a no message regarding them eating it. Something adverse is going to happen to them if they eat that. So if you ignore the message or think, oh, there's something wrong with me, oh, there's something wrong with my stomach, oh, I have a headache, I have to, go lay down here, eat it, I'm going to go lay down or I'm going to take some, Tylenol or something. If you ignore the message like that, one or both of you is going to hurt as a result. Okay? So often, out of the blue, you can feel things, and you may not know exactly what it is that needs to be done. Like, it might not be like you're actually doing something like getting the food, and you can tell it has to do with the food. Okay? It could just be out of the blue. But most of the time, it will have to do with them needing to clear themselves. You can feel the energies that are in their energy fields. And if they come close to you and they're carrying around a bunch of low vibrations, it's not going to feel good to you. And here's another piece to be aware of. Okay, it's not your job to fix everything for everyone. And sometimes they need to work through things for themselves. So just because you feel something, it doesn't mean you need to go deeper into that particular energy and analyze all of it. In fact, as an empath, many times this isn't what's the best thing for you to do. Because remember that you pick up on multi-dimensional vibrations, and there isn't always a need to know exactly what they are. Because when you go into them, you actually entangle yourself more with them. So it's not always the best route to take. If a person comes to you and says, I want to talk to you, will you help me through an issue I'm having? That's different than when they come near you and you feel the dissonance of low vibrations that they're carrying around in their field. So the solution starts with that they need to keep themselves clear. Okay. And again, we're talking about your close family here, not just other people, because, you can't control what other people are doing. And so again, you don't want to feel everything for everyone. That would just make your life miserable. And it's what I used to do. So you really don't want to do that. Just going out in the world feeling everything for everyone. That finds me pleasant. Okay. So if they are keeping themselves clear and you still feel something, then you can ask them if anything happened that day they'd like to talk about because you're sensing something. And this is a totally different approach than you jumping into their space and doing some kind of work on them and analyzing everything or digging into it. And this is the mistake that so many health practitioners make when ultra-sensitive people come to them for help and healing on any level. The person's feeling bad, and instead of addressing the root cause of it, they're treated either through therapies or medications. And it's long and drawn out, and it's not a holistic enough approach to resolve the issues, especially for very sensitive people who have more complex energetic systems. But we're kind of programmed to approach ourselves this way because, we learn it in our society. So it makes sense to want to reach out and do it for someone else. Fix it. Let me tell you, when the root cause of the pain stems from low vibrational energies and entities that are in the energy field or have penetrated the body, no amount of talk therapy is going to resolve this, and no amount of medications are going to make it go away. The energies and entities have to be cleared away. That's it. Then you go from there. Now, when you're dealing with an empathic child, the number one most important thing to do is to teach the child what it means to be an empath. Give them the gift of knowing what in the world is going on with the way they experience the world, their life here. Don't ever afford them the space to believe that there's something wrong with them. Tell them that they can feel energy vibrations that they can't see, because most of the energy that exists can't be seen with our physical eyes. Tell them about the science of this, and you'll empower them to be free from society's judgments so that they can live an authentic life. Tell them about how sometimes when they feel like crying, it has nothing to do with them. Tell them that they're feeling energies from other people. Tell them that when they feel pain, they're not always actually sick. Show them how to effectively clear the energies causing this away from them. And explain consistently to them why they need to eat a pure and clean diet and how it honors them to do it. When you have an empathic child, it's very important to honor them when they say that they don't want to watch a certain television show or movie or read a certain book. Allow them to use their intuition to guide them and you in making the best, most honoring choices for them possible. Now, if it's a requirement for school, either ask the teacher for an alternative assignment or spend the time to read the book yourself, be with your child, and emotionally support him or her through the entire experience. Most importantly, help your child to be grounded. All of the things I just talked about are important and necessary for being grounded. In addition to them, encourage them often. Some kids have to be reminded all day long. They do. To connect to their physical body energetically and to stay connected to their spiritual home. That's what grounding is about. Both of those things together. This means talking to your child about spirituality and not forcing your own beliefs on them. Keep it broad and simple. We're trying to accomplish grounding, right? Remember that. We're not trying to put beliefs in there. Say to them, you have a soul. It's from the light. Your soul has a spiritual home, and right now it's living here on earth, and you are safe here. These little short sentences are so powerful. Okay, it can change everything for their experience, for the better. Now, true empaths are not going to be earth souls. Their spiritual homes will be other planets, stars, dimensional spaces, or realms that are not planet Earth. I've been given this information consistently for a very long time through my channeling. It's just something I want you to be aware of. Now, some people get confused between being kind, compassionate, and empathetic with actually being empaths. And like I talked about in the last episode, there's much more to being an empath than just feeling other people's emotions. This is such a limiting approach to a much broader concept. Multi-dimensional energy vibrations are what empaths can feel, no matter what level, including emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, or just purely energetic, that they exist on. Empaths feel them inside of themselves as if they are coming from within themselves. Many times an empath, though they may feel so much compassion for someone, may actually back away from them because it feels so uncomfortable to connect with them. Many times empaths will just want to be alone so that they can have a break from all the energy that's all over the place. And in being in public with large groups of people is a situation where an empath can become overwhelmed. Now, when a child has been in school all day with 1,000 other kids, plus teachers and staff, they'll need to detox themselves from all of that energy that they were exposed to. And this can look different for different kids depending on who they are and how they process energy. So after school, some kids may want to be very active and move the energy, away from themselves that way by running or playing outside and really moving their body. Some kids may want to sit quietly indoors and read or play alone until they feel good and stable. Now remember that a lot of these kids, though, depending where they go to school, have been inside most of the day, so really encourage them to get into some sunlight. Even if they don't want to be active, just let them sit in the sun for at least 20 or 30 minutes after school, exposing their skin so they can get vitamin D. It's really, really essential, okay? And they have to do it for detox and for healthy functioning, okay? Now, some other kids just may need to take a nap, sleep it off, and clear that way. Some kids may want to take a bath and just soak in the water quietly. You can offer some Epsom salts to put in there, and it pulls out those physical toxins. Some kids may want to sit and talk with you about their experiences, which is so helpful. But no matter how they choose to regroup and reground themselves, every child needs to first and foremost clear their energy. They need to learn how to do it during the day when they're at school also. And that is a big reason I put so much into the Foundations healing system I developed and wrote it in such a way so that it's accessible for anyone to use, especially children when they go to school. Okay, so they have a way, ultra sensitive children and empaths have a way to actually successfully go to school and be there. Okay, now an easy and safe way to do this clearing is just to ask for spiritual assistance. Now, I encourage you to go for the very top power and say, this is similar to what I say, you can say, I ask the highest source from within the light to clear me in my highest good, in the way of the highest good on all levels of my being and my energy field on all levels now. Thank you. Remember, we always want to clear in the way of the highest good, so like if you're next to someone, doesn't get on them, that kind of idea, and everything goes where it needs to in the way of the highest good. The highest good is not going to hurt anybody. Okay, and then you just breathe and you just completely let go as it is cleared from you. It's a passive way to clear, but you're being active in that you're asking for it, okay? And you're being active in that you're willing to let go and breathing, willing to be connected to your body, okay? And there are lots of clearing methods, and I personally use several different ones throughout my day, every day, and you and your child can find what they like and need to use for themselves. And when you have your child clear themselves energetically, then whatever they choose to do that feels good and right for them to help them feel grounded and stable, like all those examples I was giving, it will be more effective and efficient. So rather than just sleeping, waking up, and still feeling bad, you clear yourself, then you go to sleep, or then you run around, or then you take a bath, or then you sit and read, and then you are, it is just more quick and effective. Okay, so they clear first and then go and do what they need to do for themselves. And then they can do their homework after that or whatever else they need to do. If you're an empath, remember that all of this applies to you also. Don't go out into the world and then bring back a bunch of low vibrations with you. It's like you walk out the door with empty shopping bags and come home with them all filled up, but you didn't intend to actually buy anything. It all just kind of jumped into your bags on its own. You have to clear it out, and you clear yourself before you go back into the house. And that brings me to another important piece for empathic kids and grounding. Of course, when I say kids, it's for adults too. But for a way for you to focus on helping your children if this is an issue. Now remember, they've been in school or just out and around others all day. And when they come home, the space needs to feel good to them. And you can connect this to yourself if you don't have children. You've been at work all day, same kind of thing, okay? They need to have a safe space where they can relax and detox and feel good. So how can you set up your home so that this is accomplished? I'm going to give you a list so you can write these down, okay? Jot them down. Okay, first, keep all chemical cleaners, sprays, and air fresheners out of the home. Chemicals are toxic, which means it's going to result in ungrounding. Okay, number 2, keep the TV turned off when no one's actively watching it, and keep the news turned off. An empath may be feeling perfectly fine and then see a story on the news, and that's it. They feel awful for the rest of the day or even longer. Be aware of this. All right? I don't think I need to go into the details of that. I think you can understand why with the news. All right, number 3, make sure that everything that's inside of the home has been cleared energetically also. You just ask your guides and the non-incarnated angels to do this for you each morning. Okay, everything needs to be clear. Because remember, empaths feel those low vibrations and we don't want them in there. Make sure you don't have too many crystals lying around. Crystals are powerful and their vibrations can feel really good to some people and quite the opposite to others. Empaths benefit from having protective crystals like tourmaline and obsidian, black ones, but many other crystals will just amplify the energies that empaths are already feeling so strongly. Okay, so make sure you're using crystals sparingly and purposefully, not just because they're pretty, not because someone else said that they'll do certain thing for you. It doesn't work the same way with ultrasensitives that it does for other people. Remember that, okay? And please remember to make sure that all of your crystals are kept clear. Every day they must be intentionally cleared. All right? They suck up energies. And if you're using protective ones, they're sucking up those energies for you, keeping them away from you. So they have to be cleared. All right? Keep toxic foods, alcohol, and cigarettes out of the house completely. Empaths can feel the low vibrations of these, and it's ungrounding. And when you and your empathic children are at home, you need to feel like you're in a safe space to be grounded and connected. These toxins make the space unsafe because they're harmful. They're harmful to the body. Empaths feel them just because they're there. Okay? Really, it's true. Number 6. Open the windows, use air filters, and keep the air really clean and flowing inside the house so that it feels good to be there, right? We're talking about setting up this home environment in a proactive way so conducive to grounding, so you're not picking up the pieces afterward and trying to figure out what in the world, why is everybody feeling so bad and what's going on. We're talking about setting it up. So that doesn't happen. And if it's already happened, this is part of the work to do to heal it and resolve it. Okay, number 7. Put plants inside, and these bring in more oxygen, and they clean the air. You can look online which plants are the best for cleaning the air. Number 8. Keep the noise level reasonable inside. The more chaos there is in the home, the less grounded an empath and ultrasensitive is going to feel there. All right? Peace, serenity, quiet, these These feel good to empaths. And finally, and this list isn't, completely complete, but these are really powerful things to do and necessary. Okay, finally, keep violence out of your home, whether it's delivered in the form of entertainment on TV or movies, or through games with fake guns or violent video games, or through actual emotional or physical violence. Empaths feel all of it with more intensity than other people. They're already feeling anyway. All right, this is just bringing direct low vibrational energy to them. So if they're unaware, it'll impact and affect their health and well-being seriously. So, do empaths and ultrasensitives have to live different lifestyles than other people in order to be healthy? Yes, we absolutely do. And it's not that it's hard to do these things, it's just different. So, to simplify, focus on purity, simplicity, not a lot of clutter, simplicity, peace, and nurturing love. These are the vibrations that allow empaths and sensitives to be able to thrive. And these are not the vibrations that most of us encounter and experience in the world. So by remaining aware and keeping ourselves clear, we have the chance for our energy to be grounded so we can feel good and be healthy. Please take care of yourself and approach your empathic, sensitive children with authenticity and respect for the beings that they are. There's nothing wrong with them for having these qualities and these gifts. Having awareness is the absolute first step to being able to feel good in this world as a sensitive empath. And the second is having the tools to do what you need to do about whatever is affecting you that doesn't feel good. And remember that I have several clearing techniques in my book, Empathic Sensitivity, and even more in the foundation system. You can find links to them on my website, empoweredthriving.com. You can read more, some articles I've written and find out more about the Empathic Sensitivity book on empathicsensitivity.com. Thank you so much for being here to listen. Much, much love to you and your beautiful, powerful, empathic children. I will be back next week with more.
Thank you for listening today. Please join us next week as Janice answers listener questions and provides more inspiration and practical applications for you to live a healthy, productive life as an empath.